So hey everyone, Carlos here with the Evolve Commerce Club. I'm joined today by my friend, Evolve Club member and VP of Sales for VTEX for the CE and German region. Catalin, you were telling me about your experience. You developed a career first at, I'm not sure if it was Lego first, and then EMAG, which is a marketplace, right?
Yeah. It was EMAG first, and then I moved towards Lego.
Perfect.
And like 4.5 years ago, I joined VTEX.
Perfect.
So thank you for the opportunity.
No, of course. You were telling me about how customers been evolving. They've been looking at implementing more marketplaces, and the first question I have is why? So perhaps you can tell a little bit of the profile of the VTEX customers. If you don't know what VTEX is an e-commerce platform, but a little bit of the profile of VTEX customers, and why do you see more customers moving towards marketplaces, or interested at least in building marketplaces?
Yeah, sure. So mainly VTEX is an e-commerce platform doing B2B, B2C and marketplace in a single out-of-the-box proposition. We serve mainly enterprise customers, so the ICP is looking towards enterprise customers. Now, the reason that we're seeing more and more migrations or extensions towards the marketplace model is essentially share of wallet. So if you have a large online store, let's say, and you sell one type of product, for example, pet food or do-it-yourself, let's take do-it-yourself, your customer is going to spend annually an amount of money in that vertical. So they're going to spend maybe 500 euros, 1,000 euros, 2,000 euros if they do a small refurbishment during the course of a year. So the total share of wallet you can get from that customer is limited by the vertical you operate. Now, if in that digital property you have a high volume of traffic, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million in some cases users, it makes a lot of sense to start extending those categories and start adding there like laptops, electronics, maybe pet food, fashion is a big thing. And then by doing so, you increase the share of wallet that you can attract from the existing customer base. And then you having the customer there already, and if you manage to do this transition and add additional verticals without conflicting with your initial value proposition, can guarantee that you have a longer or a bigger customer lifetime value or a yearly share of their spend.
So without naming names, but do you see, for example, you work a lot with grocers, for example, and it makes sense for a grocer to sell not only food, right, but start selling perhaps fashion or having, and that's kind of the transformation that you see.
Exactly. And if you look at it, if some of the biggest groceries brand already have some fashion aisle, or they're going to have some products already in their stores. What we see a lot is, however, from the other side. So we see a lot of electronic websites that are specialized in laptops, phones, tablets, or kitchen appliances, adding their I don't know, pet supplies, adding do-it-yourself products, adding home and deco, adding fashion, adding multiple verticals in this area.
Interesting. So the idea is to see the customer as a whole instead of thinking of the customer as they just need one specific thing, right?
And sometimes it's even more efficient and more profitable, to be honest with you, because if you go with the marketplace there and you have the right partners to integrate a new vertical, you don't have to worry about logistics, storing the products, the depreciation of the products. You don't have to worry about shipping. It's a more, I would say, financial reasonable model to offer those products to the consumer. The partner does the fulfillment and you just take the commission on the sale.
Brilliant.
So basically you're leveraging the existing customer base to generate more value, more revenue.
If we take that as a segue to the B2B or manufacturers, you were mentioning that you're seeing a transformation there as well, that manufacturers now are going through their next, let's say, evolution, digital transformation, so they're starting to build their own marketplace capabilities, right? And why is that? Why do you think that is happening?
Well, I think it's if we look at the B2B space, it's going into that direction, but I think it's a little bit, I would say, a few steps behind. So what we're seeing, first of all, is digitalization of the B2B space. A lot of the B2B, let's say, sales or replenishment are done still today, or used to be done a lot, with Salesforce. So agents on the field with cars, doing customer tours, going customer by customer every week, doing replenishment and so on, and that's costly to maintain, to be honest, because you have to have the overhead or the cost with the people, with the transportation, with the gas and everything like this. So first trend we're seeing is more technology going into the B2B space. That, I would say, is definitely an important trend. Now, once you have that technology there, it's similar like we were talking about the B2C part. If you have the customer, if you have the direct communication with the customer, and you form the habit of doing replenishment via a platform, it's easy for you to add next to your offering as a distributor additional offerings from distributors that are not conflicting with what you are selling. And we have some very interesting cases and implementations here of distributors that onboarded all their customers or the majority of their customers into the platform, use the same sales force instead of doing replenishment to generate new customers, kept the commissions for all the orders that are going to the platform. So then from the sales perspective, they see this as a way to increase the commission that they receive. So the more customers I bring to the platform, the more commission I'm going to get. For the business or the distributor, they're creating a strong customer base. Let's take the example of HoReCa or restaurants industry. And then what happens is very interesting because they see a growth in number of products per order. They see a growth in average order value because the businesses will order in their own time, not at the pressure of of a sales agent being at your door and asking for an order. And a lot of the times the sales agents would just sell what you're used to buy. So they're the replenishment. If I buy, I don't know, a crate of drinks or water and so on, every week I'll come and sell that crate. But then if the replenishment is done in its own timeline, they're going to see, oh, you have more products in our offer. Maybe you have 5,000 products. You cannot talk about 5,000 products at that point. And once you build this digital network of clients, it makes a lot of sense to extend with the marketplace model as well.
Mm-hmm. You were mentioning, just to wrap this up, that there's an opportunity to create collaborations, that perhaps more so in the B2C space, right? When you have marketplaces, do you see something like that for the B2B space, or?
Yeah. I think that the B2B space is a little bit more structured in terms of specialization. So you're gonna have a lot of times territorial structures of the brands that you can distribute and so on. But once you come with the customer and you're able to have a B2B customer database doing B2B commerce in a platform, with considering the restrictions that you already have from your brands and so on, you can apply the same strategy and say, okay, what other distributors would I be able to open to my customers, and what other products can I offer to my customers where I can get a commission on without having a channel conflict or a conflict with the brand and so on. So we are seeing some of these collaborations getting structured in some of the markets we operate in.
Brilliant. It was Catalin. Catalin, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carlos.
Thanks.
Thank you.